Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome on in, welcome back. Roll up, roll up. Here is your football therapy for today with me, your host Jan. Do hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that. And of course, welcome back to Chelsea News. Chelsea News. The daily. Daily series. Here on Football Therapy, where I reflect on what's being said in the headlines, giving you my opinion, but of course, more importantly, asking for yours. Plenty to get into today. Conor Gallagher to Everton. Good, bad, maybe. We'll discuss that. Ladies and gentlemen, the Eden Hazard stories are back, but don't freak out. Possibly a loan deal, maybe no loan fee, subsidised wages by Real Madrid, possibly. Ziyech, Hazard, just don't freak out. Don't freak out. Chelsea attackers are bad. We're starving out here. Mate, also, maybe a bit of Raphinha to Chelsea. What you guys think? Settle in, get comfortable. Please do drop a like. Let's see if we can get over 2,000 likes. I think that's pretty realistic with you, my friend. It takes a second to click. And of course, you are all welcome to subscribe. Right, let's start off with Conor Gallagher to Everton. Conor being linked to the Toffees, of course, because of Super Frankie Lampard, who seemingly wins every home game at Goodison Park. I think they've won both their home games on an aggregate score of 7-1, but lost both their away games on an aggregate of 5-1. So, seemingly can only win at Goodison Park. Dismal away form. Hopefully Frank Lampard sorts that out. Now, Everton, massive club, good resources, good squad, man. Apparently, Everton will be interested, but will be driven by Frank Lampard, would want to loan Conor Gallagher next season. Now, think about this. We all naturally want Conor Gallagher to drop right into this Chelsea team under Thomas Tuchel next season. But if we are to continue with similar formations, he'd have to be a front three player. And I wonder if he comes in and immediately, if it makes total sense. Now, obviously, Everton is a much more higher profile loan than Crystal Palace, despite, current league positions. Everton are generally, historically, like a top sort of 7 club, aren't they? And Palace are a very much mid-table, bottom half-table club. And he'd be if Conor Gallagher went on there for a season-long loan, you could be like, right, Mason Mount 2.0 for Frank Lampard. He did wonders for Mount at Derby and indeed Chelsea. Maybe he could do the same for Conor Gallagher. Of course, Conor already tearing up the Premier League. But you just feel like Conor Gallagher is probably even closer to a Frank Lampard type than Mason Mount is in terms of player profile style. Would you agree with that? Maybe you would argue. Actually, I probably would agree with that because there's a lot of aspects of Lampard's game that people have forgotten about. So maybe that would be good. Of course, if he's starting behind the likes of, Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, do you know what I mean? And linking up with Demarai Gray, good players. That could be an excellent season-long loan for him to play at an even higher level in theory. If Everton stay up, which you think they should do, you'd have to back them next season to not be in a relegation battle with Frank Lampard. Therefore, they'll be playing at a higher level, and that could be a really good loan for Conor Gallagher. Of course, people will say, why would you send him on loan again, getting him in the team? And maybe so. Of course, Tuchel's very pleased with him in pre-season. Tuchel really he's commented a couple of times on watching Conor Gallagher for Palace. Everyone recognises he's doing really, really well. What does he do? Does he drop? If we keep a 3-4-2-1 formation, does he jump into the double six? He could do that, but he seems a little bit more erratic and offensive to play that disciplined role in that Chelsea team. So I wonder. We've got so many players like that. We've got Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante. I do worry for Loftus-Cheek, but Gilmour. He's already trained under Tuchel. Barkley will probably be gone. Chelsea are targeting a signing in the midfield, whether that's a Declan Rice or a Aurélien Tchouameni. Of course, my last upload was about those two players. Do go check it out if you're yet to see it. Is one more loan at a high level in the Premier League for Conor Gallagher a good idea? Maybe, maybe not. Certainly, you can understand why Frank Lampard would want him for a season at Everton. if Chelsea could spare him, maybe they can do Frank the favour like they did, when he was down at Derby. Let me know what you think regarding that, friends. Comment down below your thoughts on Conor Gallagher to potentially Everton to play under Super Frankie Lampard. We will talk about Raphinha in just a moment, but let's talk about Eden Hazard. News coming out from Spain, Spanish news outlets, Spanish reporters, saying that Chelsea and Real Madrid are negotiating a loan deal for Eden Hazard. So, Eden Hazard is the second highest owner at Real Madrid on £380,000 per week, just shy of 400k a week. Only behind Gareth Bale, who of course is in a similar situation. I think he's got, a year less left than Hazard. Hazard's deal expires at Real Madrid in 2024. So come this summer, he'll still have 2 years left on his deal. Now, Real Madrid aren't, massive fans of the signing. Of course, they'll view it as a mistake. Eden Hazard was easily top 4 players in the world when he left Chelsea, made possibly the 3rd best player on form. Over the years, people have put him, 3rd best player in the world behind Messi and Ronaldo in terms of form. He goes there for an incredible fee, despite, only having 12 months left on his deal. We get like 90 million for him, plus loads of add-ons. He immediately won La Liga. We immediately got like an extra few million. A masterclass from Marina Granovskaya, our chief negotiator. We know all this. We've discussed this before. But he had bad injury problems, and it just hasn't worked out. And he's never fitted in. Now, he wears the number 7. He, of course, took it off Cristiano Ronaldo. And ultimately, they want to free up the number 7 for Kylian Mbappe, the future legacy, the next 10 years wearing the number 7. Essentially, the successor for Cristiano Ronaldo they always wanted. And ultimately, if you look at player profile, how direct Ronaldo is and how direct Mbappe is, you feel like it could work. Hazard was never that player. It was he was never the... Hazard was always a player that worked well when he was joyfully allowed to create and do what he wants and when he feels loved. Basically, when he's at Chelsea, he wore the number 10 at Chelsea. He could float around, do his own thing, and enjoy life and put in clutch moments. Now, the reason why I think this might work for Chelsea at the moment is because that's our attacking plan. If we played in a really systemic, formulaic attacking way, I don't think it would work. Like in a perfect example is Jack Grealish going to Man City. Now, Jack Grealish at Aston Villa is like prime Eden Hazard at Chelsea. Give him the keys, he's the number 10, he'll win games for you. But when Jack Grealish went to a highly systemic and formulaic side in Man City, he's struggling big time. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to work for Grealish, but we can all see that it's not working at the moment as he's struggling. Chelsea don't have this formulaic way of attack. None of our forwards score, at all. We rely on our, wing backs, defenders, midfielders, the odd goal. Ziyech. Ziyech at the moment is scoring 3 games in a row because he's almost just doing a clutch, freestyle attacking thing. So, what I'm saying here, if we had form attackers, I was reminiscing about Willian's last season at Chelsea. He got 16 Premier League goal involvements. We're in the trenches, ladies and gentlemen. The things I'd do for 16 Premier League goal involvements right now. Willian's looking like prime Messi. This is where we're at. So let me just weave you a story, okay? Right wing, in form, Hakim Ziyech, doing his thing, dropping deep and creative. Left wing, Eden Hazard, dribbling around, doing ball progressions. The opposition players don't know what to do with him. Suddenly, out of nowhere, because Belgium's captain's there in Eden Hazard, Romelu Lukaku thinks he's playing for Belgium. Starts scoring 7 goals a game rather than making 7 touches a game. Wow. Now listen, I know what you mean. Before you even say it, I know many of you are going to say, Jan, Eden Hazard's not the same player in terms of form, explosivity. He's had those injuries. And, whatever. And yes, I concede to all of that. But what's the alternative? Look at our players at the moment. And the thing is, I still maintain, and I still subscribe. I've said it before on the channel, so, forgive me, I'm going to say it again. If he comes to somewhere back somewhere where he's loved, where it's not so nightmarish, he could be revitalised. Stamford Bridge could initiate a sense of muscle memory in him. Like, oh yeah, I remember that. I can do these movements. Maybe I'm almost certainly being an element of romanticism. I'm using romanticism here. But Yeah, I'm not saying we buy Eden Hazard for 50 million. I'm saying if they want to loan us Eden Hazard and subsidise most of his wages, let's try it, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, he'll be 31. You know, like, let him just see what happens. Do a Saul Niguez, you know? Just, it doesn't matter. See if it works. He might come in useful for a little bit. At the most, people could say, oh, I don't want to see him fail at Chelsea. But he's failing anyway. At least let him be back at Cobham. He still owns a house in Cobham. Let him be happy. Let him be feel good. You know, I think it would be... I'm fully backing it. Now, listen. If we were free scoring goals and this opportunity came up, I'd be like, fair enough, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, Hazard, sorry, man. We're just cooking here. We're in a Premier League title challenge. We've scored so many goals this season. You know, Pulisic on 13 Premier League goals and 9 assists. I'm sorry. That hasn't happened. We're starving. We're in the trenches. So therefore, I endorse it. Ziyech, Hazard, let's go, baby. Look, don't come at me in the comments with your sensible logic and your, you know, whatever. Have a bit of fun. Get on the train, you know? Anyway, in terms of long-term signings for the attacking positions, Raphinha, who, interestingly, a lot of people said he might have fallen out with Bielsa because he hasn't been selected a couple of times. I'm not reporting on that. I'm not saying that for sure. At Cy Phillips Sport on Twitter is saying, Chelsea lead Barcelona in the race to sign Raphinha this summer, and the Brazilian will be available for as little as 25 million euro if Leeds are relegated. I don't think Leeds are relegated, but it could be. There's a chance. Now, Raphinha is 25 years old. He's entering his prime. He is a proven Premier League player. I know a lot of you don't like that term, but I feel like it's an important thing. He's an attacker that's shown he can do it in the current climate. Many attackers we've had questions asked about buying, you know, foreign attackers in. And fair enough, Raphinha is not a striker, so let's talk about our wide forwards. Hakim Ziyech, I always loved, but he struggled to get going. He's going now. Timo Werner, you know, enough said. Christian Pulisic, again, he's shown moments, but has struggled from a foreign league. Kai Havertz, I think Kai Havertz will be magnificent for Chelsea. I absolutely adore the kind of player he is. When he gets going, I think he's a fantastic, unique player to watch, but has struggled to get going. I think he's got 1 goal in the last 11 or something. It's important. You know, people don't like it when I talk about Declan Rice, Premier League proven as well, but like, players can get rattled. Look at Saul Niguez when he first came in. I think Raphinha would be a great signing. You know, if Chelsea sold 2 attackers in the summer and brought in Raphinha and Eden Hazard on loan, I would be very happy. Raphinha is 25 million euro. What's that, like 20 million pounds? Or just under? If it's under 20 million pounds, wow. But you can understand, there may even be a clause in Raphinha's contract at Leeds, like, if we get relegated, I'm going for 20 million or less. Put that in the contract, man. Do you know what I mean? He's very, very good. Little bit of a shithouse as well. I mean, he's had a few moments against Chelsea, hasn't he? But if you said to him, boy, oh boy, you want to come and cook with the champions of Europe, you know, from Leeds to Chelsea, that would be an incredible promotion for the Leeds forward. I would love Raphinha. I know a lot of you would too. A lot of you guys have said that in the comments before. But especially if it's a good price, you know, if it's a really good value, then I'll be very, very interested in it indeed. But I'm keen, of course, as always, to hear your thoughts and opinions. So make sure you do comment them down below on everything I've spoken about. Conor Gallagher to Lampard's Everton, Hazard on a loan, perhaps with subsidised wages from Real Madrid. And let me know what you think of Raphinha. Guys, thank you for everyone who's liked the video. Try and help me out on this deep, dark abyss that is the YouTube algorithm. Just takes a second to click. And why not share the video? You know, let's share the love around. I appreciate you all. See you tomorrow. Daily videos, of course. Or actually, no, wait. See you tonight. Champions League. Ooh la la! Keep it locked. Just make sure the bell notifications icon is turned on. See you soon. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double, silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.